What's going on, everybody? Tonight, episode 2 of season 9 of The Walking Dead aired, and this is my newest TV series review series, because The Mines is coming to an end here shortly in just a few weeks. The Deuce will be coming to an end in about 3 more episodes. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed both of those series reviews, and hopefully you guys are checking out The Walking Dead one and are enjoying them too. I did the first episode for this season last week, and now I'm going to be doing this one, and I will be doing all 8 of the first half of the season. Then they go on break for Christmas and stuff, and they come back on in February. So the mid-season finale should be towards the end of November, so we have about that long for episodes and reviews, and then in February I'll kick it back up whenever they come back. But yeah, if you're new to my channel, welcome. How I do my reviews is I rate it out of a 1 out of 5 stars, and I do 4.8 and 4.7, stuff like that. That's how I rate it. And for my reviews, I lately have been trying something new, and for you guys who have been with my channel for a little while, hopefully you guys are enjoying the new way I'm doing it, where I just talk about every little detail about the show and all my opinions on it, and I don't worry about giving spoilers away, because hopefully you guys have watched the episode and are, clicking on to hear my thoughts and opinions fully without worrying about spoilers. But yeah, let's just dive right into this review. So if you don't already know, this show stars Andrew Lincoln, Norman Reedus, Lauren Cohan, and Melissa McBride. And so many other phenomenal actors and actresses, but those are really the main 4 that have been with this show for the longest amount of time. And if you're a fan of this show, or if you've seen the previews, you know that season 9 is the last episode for Rick Grimes, who is played by Andrew Lincoln, and he's the main character and has been since season 1. So, of course, we get to speculate about how he's going to go out the show. Are they going to kill him off? Are they just going to make his character leave? Doubtfully, I have a feeling they are going to kill him off, just because that would be the only reason he would ever leave Michonne and, Judith and stuff like that. So, who knows? But yeah, so this episode picked up a month after the last episode ended. They're building the bridge. The war is over with Negan. It has been for over a year now. Maggie is, she's running the hilltop, and she's not so big of a fan of the sanctuary. Like, she understands that not all of them are bad, but she still looks at it as that whole group killed my husband, and I don't agree with anything with them. So she doesn't really want to be fair with them and help them out like she would Alexandria or the Kingdom or Oceanside. So, it all has to do with her coming to the realization that, maybe I do need to be fair and whatnot. So, because Michonne comes and asks for the rations of food that the Hilltop was going to send to Sanctuary, and for the gas that they were going to bring them. Well, they shipped out the gas, and apparently the group of sanctuaries that were bringing the gas never made it to the Hilltop. So Michonne wanted Maggie to give the rations to the sanctuary anyway while they figure out what happened to them. Also, a group of the sanctuary people who didn't want to build the bridge left, and they were on their way home but never made it home. So the question is why is the sanctuary people just disappearing? I kind of have a theory about it, and I have a feeling that might be the way that they introduce the Whisperers, which we know are going to be introduced this season, because Rick and them will be going to look for these sanctuary people, and that might be how they stumble upon the Whisperers. Maybe the Whisperers captured them, maybe they killed them, who knows, maybe they joined them, who knows, but it's going to be interesting. And then you have Rick, who is, he's trying to start the new world, and he's trying to keep peace between every group that fought the Sanctuary and the Sanctuary people. and and he's not quite getting that, because Daryl thinks none of them are going to fall in with the program, and that they're all bad and we should just kill them all or lock them up or some shit like that. Rick thinks that all of them are going to just fall in line and be happy and live out their days happily. The thing is that neither one of them are right. Human nature, and he talks about with Negan, because this is the first time we see Negan in this season since season 8. And Rick goes and like kind of confesses and tells him what's everything that's going on and stuff like that. So neither one of them are right. Yeah, it's human nature to come together like we do, but at the same time, you still have good guys and bad guys, and not all of them are going to fall in line. Some of them are going to disagree. Some of them have their own agenda and will just play along until their agenda can happen. And that's the thing, is Rick and Daryl, they either see all good, which is Rick, or all bad, which is Daryl. Carol is the kind of like the middle ground and sees both sides and understands that, but understands that you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time you can't just be lenient with them like Rick is to an extent. And I have a feeling that whole dynamic is going to really escalate throughout this first half of the season, especially while Rick is still in the show. Also, we got to see from the trailer, you could already tell that Daryl and Rick were going at it in a way, because Daryl wasn't happy with how Rick kept Negan alive. And so this time, in this episode, this is the episode that Daryl asked Rick, are we on the same side, Rick? And Rick's like, I don't know, you tell me. So, I have a feeling that's also, hopefully in the next episodes, they're going to talk it out or beat it out or whatever they do. Because I really do want to know what their deal is and if they're really going to be able to work this out. Because who knows? Because Daryl, he wanted Negan dead from the get-go. And Rick did too, but he's not happy with the fact that Rick kept him alive. And neither is Maggie. So who knows how they're going to do Maggie's character either, because Lauren Cohan is also leaving the show. They kind of mentioned that the woman in the van that gave them the plans to the future, which we see again in this episode that Rick had, that like they've been talking through letters. And I have a feeling that the way that Maggie is going to leave the show is she's going to go join her, and that gives it the possibility for Maggie to come back. And at the same time, I have a feeling Jesus is going to step up and become the leader at the hilltop. So that all, is interesting, and how it's all going to play out, because we get to know. So there's just, this episode was really, really great, and, kind of showing the sanctuary and all the people working together. It really showed you where they were in, since the war and stuff, and, seeing how everyone is reacting to each other being there. And I really did love the way that they did this. So far, this season is fantastic. I've loved every season. I have problems with each one. But, yeah, this season so far, I have no complaints with it. I am enjoying everything. Also, Gabriel and Anne hooked up, which I find hilarious, especially in the way that she's like, so your vows and what? He's like, I'm a pescatarian. My vows don't stop me. And so then she grabbed his dick and shit. And that was funny to me. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this season so far. I am really curious on how they're going to wrap up Rick's storyline and Maggie's storyline and what they're going to do and how they're going to continue it out. I'm also curious on when they're going to introduce the Whisperers. Also, do you think Negan's going to escape? Because I have a theory, me and my dad have talked about, we have theory that maybe some of the Sanctuary people are going to go break Negan out. And, who knows? But I know in the comics that by this point, Carl is still alive. Carl is running the Sanctuary, which they kind of put on Daryl, but now Carol is going to take over for Daryl. But in the comics, Carl is the one that runs the Sanctuary. And when they introduced the Whisperers, Rick is the first one to come across them, because he's out and he hears a group of walkers. He's hiding from them, a horde of walkers, and he hears walkers, people talking, whispering. hence the whispers amongst them. So he kind of comes across them that way. Uh, and Negan he ends up coming to terms with Negan and giving him the benefit of the doubt, and Negan ends up helping them with the whispers, but then Negan betrays them and kind of betrays and joins the Whisperers. So who knows how they're going to play out the Whisperers storyline, because at the same time in the comics, Carl is dating the Whisperers leader's daughter. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play this out through this season, but I'm really excited for it. I've been looking forward to the two things that I've been looking forward to is the War with Negan, which I was not disappointed with, like most people were, and the Whispers. The Whispers for sure, more than Negan, but Negan is fantastic. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan's portrayal of Negan. I do kind of wish the show was on HBO just because we could get Negan cussing and being his true self like he is in the comics, and a hell of a lot more funnier in some of the shit that he says. But yeah, I am curious on where they're going to take this storyline, how they're going to play it out in this season, especially with Rick leaving. It's all new territory, and I know a lot of comic book fans are pissed off about it and have given up on the show. Come back. I mean, if you've made it through season 9, you ought to just see how it plays out. I understand that they're trying to get away from the comic books, and they should have done it years ago. I get that, if they didn't want to be a true adaptation to the comics. But I have a feeling that since Fear came on and it's been, it doesn't have a comic line to follow, that is what has made them sure that they could go away from the comics little by little, and now just drastically, and completely be fine with it and still have the viewerships, because Fear is doing really well, apparently. I haven't caught up on it. I watched up to the mid-season finale of 2 and never went back to it. But I hear that it's doing really well with season 4, especially since Morgan came on the show. So I definitely need to get back into that. But, I have a feeling that's why they're drastically changing it. So, hopefully you guys haven't left the show and given up on it. I sure haven't. I am still enjoying it. I am still enjoying all the characters. I'm especially curious if they're going to start giving Daryl more of a leadership role when Rick leaves. Hopefully they'll do more with his character than they have in the past couple seasons, because they haven't really done much with his character, and that's the one disappointment I have had with this show in the last couple seasons. But without a doubt, I am still enjoying this show. I am really curious on where it's going. And yeah, I'm going to give The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 2, a 5 out of 5 stars. I love this episode, and I am excited about next week's episode. But comment down below, let me know what you guys are thinking about this show, this season so far. If you love the show altogether, is it your favorite show? Is it your second favorite show? Is it not in your top 10? Is it in your top 10? Let me know down in the comments. Also, who's your favorite character? How do you think Negan is going to escape? Let's talk about all these things down in the comics and how they're going to play out. If you read the comic books, let's talk about that down in the comics. In the comments, I don't read them. I've read, I think the first 2 big books that they've had, and I have read up on stuff on the internet and stuff like that, and talked to people who has read it. So that's how I know so much about them. But yeah, let's just talk about down there. If you are a fan of the comics, have you given up on the show? Are you pissed off at them? Just let's talk about it in the comments. Also, in the description, I have links to my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. You can click on over there for updates on personal life, things I might be thinking about doing. I might do some polls for either TV shows or movies on which one you would prefer to get a review of. If there's like 2 or 3 that come out or start the same day, I might do a poll to see which one y'all want to see more. I might give you some personal updates on personal life. I might give away some digital copies with some Blu-rays and 4Ks. You never know. Just follow me over there for all the great content and discussions we can have over there and stuff like that. Also, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button because it really does help me out. Also, share it with all your friends, family, everyone that you know, and even people that you don't know. And Every Sunday night, come back here for my review of The Walking Dead Season 9. Also, check out the Deuce, my review series for that, and The Mines, and I've reviewed all the Sharp Objects, and I have a podcast up on that. If you'd like to see a podcast of me and a group of people talking about The Walking Dead, I can also do that for you. Also, I review Westworld. Go check out all my TV reviews that I've done, but the current ones I'm doing is The Walking Dead, The Mines, and The Deuce. If you have any other shows you might want me to check out and review, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, hit that subscribe button for more awesome content like this, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.